Everybody, thanks for joining us for Ark Talk Lake. I'm Mark Cabell. It is Friday, March 14th. I'm filling in for Brian Schneed tonight. And this evening, we're taking a look at a handful of our top stories of the day and some from earlier in the week, including a ruling that came in from Salt Lake County District Attorney's Office impacting the Salt Lake City Police Department. A Salt Lake City police officer who unintentionally shot and injured a man during a traffic stop last summer will not be facing any charges. The incident was captured by body camera video showing the officer firing his gun as he was pulling it out of his holster. Salt Lake County District Attorney Gill says it was not a legally justified shooting, but the officer is off the hook. The man in this case, Bobby Joe Castor, was unarmed after running from a traffic stop. Castor was hit in the hand by Officer Mitchell Bailey and then was arrested, but no charges were ever filed in the case. The DA shared the findings of the incident and what led to no charges being filed in the case.
On June 29, 2024, UHB Trooper Auger observed a white Dodge Ram pulling a flatbed trailer, speeding and with a headlight out while traveling westbound on 700 South near 5600 West in Salt Lake City. Trooper Auger attempted to effectuate a traffic stop, but the vehicle fled. At 12:10 a.m., Trooper Auger advised over the radio of the fleeing. After additional troopers arrived, Trooper Auger moved up and located the vehicle abandoned in the middle of 700 South, facing west with both doors open. UHB troopers began looking for the occupants of the truck and a few minutes later heard loud rustling in tall grass to the south of the roadway, which was west of the abandoned truck, and then began yelling commands to come out. UHB requested a tracking canine and held on the area as they waited for it to arrive. Salt Lake City Police Department Canine Officer Val Brown, who had a tracking canine, and Salt Lake City Officer Mitchell Bailey, as his backing officers, were dispatched to assist. At 12:31 a.m., Canine Officer Brown arrived on the scene, deployed his canine, and began to track with UHB Trooper Grant backing him up. Officer Bailey then arrived on the scene, moved up to back Officer Brown, and made contact with Trooper Grant, who advised that the truck had fled from a trooper, and the trooper found it abandoned with the both doors open like 2 minutes later, and they probably had two outstanding suspects. Officer Bailey and Trooper Grant continued to back Officer Brown, and he and his canine searched over the abandoned truck in a wide strip of tall grass on the south side of the road. At 12:40 p.m., after following his canine into a very tall and thick area of grass near the fence line on the south side of the strip, Officer Brown located a male laying down in the grass and began yelling commands to get out and show his hands. Officer Bailey drew his handgun and, before bringing it up fully up, fired one time and then exclaimed as Officer Brown continued to give commands. The male, who later identified as Bobby Joe Castor, is heard saying, he shot me in the hand, and he blew my hand off." As captured by the body-worn camera recording, Officer Bailey fired while facing the very tall and thick area of the grass and that Officer Brown had entered. Within 2 seconds of the commands beginning and at a downward angle, notably just before Officer Bailey fired, he turned off a flashlight he was holding in his left hand, and we will show you that as we go later. Officers placed handcuffs on Mr. Castor, observed that his left ring finger was seriously injured, escorted him off the grass, and began providing emergency medical aid until an ambulance arrived. Meanwhile, the other officers continued searching for additional suspects. Notably, at 12:46 a.m., Officer Brown located and began yelling commands to a second male. The second male, who we refer to as JC, was taken into custody without incident and told officers that there had been 3 of them in the truck. Officers continued to search the area with the assistance of canines, drones, and helicopter, but were unable to locate any additional suspects. So this is really important to us because
So the DA says had a civilian done this action, they would have probably faced felony charges for discharging a firearm and reckless endangerment. But Utah law has exempted law enforcement officers from those charges. Officer Bailey refused to speak to the DA's office about this case, which also could have helped in determining the officer's mindset during the shooting. Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd did release a statement on the DA's ruling today, saying in part, quote, "Our focus remains on learning and improving as a police department. As part of that commitment, we are completing a thorough internal review of the case. We take every officer involved critical incident seriously to examine our policies, our procedures, and also our training." You may have gotten that as a breaking news alert on your phone earlier today. As soon as the DA issued that decision, we sent that out to you. To get breaking news alerts like that, when we have breaking news, we bring them right to your phone. All you have to do is download the 2 News mobile app. An app called Kick, K-I-K, showed up in documents for an ex-fire chief and ex-judge accused of child sex crimes. Now, a Key State investigator says Kick is no party for kids. Brian Malahi has more tonight in his 2 News investigation.
On this a lot, you know.
The hand scrolling on Kick,
You know, there's nothing on here for children.
belongs to the long arm of the law.
The predators will use Kick a lot because it is harder to identify them.
This assistant commander of ICAC, we're not using his name,
Kick is one of our most reported platforms for investigations.
says Kick keeps the task force busy.
We serve search warrants 2 to 3 times a week, and one of them is usually Kick.
Kevin Christensen, who just resigned as a northern Utah judge, is accused of using Kick to communicate with others about sexually abusing kids, exploiting them, and enticing children.
I have children.
He's not speaking about the case of these defendants, the ex-judge and the ex-fire chief, but he says if anyone with ill intent thinks they can evade investigators on Kick or other platforms, he insists they're wrong.
We have an investigative tools that we use to identify these people.
So you can break through that.
100%.
On a Kick website, the app says it has zero tolerance for sexual exploitation of kids and that it will report it to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Kids. At the Capitol, Brian Malahi, KUTV 2 News.
And that is a story we were following all week. If you'd like more information about Kick, you can find our past reports and interviews posted online. Just go to the KUTV YouTube page. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, you could soon need to verify your age if you want to download apps. It's according to a new state law. So what's behind the change and how it could impact you and your family? It's coming up. Hey, welcome back to Arc Salt Lake on this Friday. And now to a 2 News exclusive where a new state law could soon require you to upload your personal information if you want to download an app on your phone or on your tablet. Brian Will has more on the new law and some of the ramifications it could have for you and your kids.
If we said that, okay, in order to watch any television program at any time of the day, you must first prove that an adult is watching before your TV will show that program to you. Right? So saying that every single app download needs to have age verification associated with it is something similar to that.
In a push to keep children safe online, the Beehive State passed a first-of-its-kind bill requiring app stores like Apple and Google to verify users' ages before they can download apps on their devices. This means users would have to upload personal information like a driver's license, passport, or even a social security card just to download an app.
How do you feel about putting a driver's license or passport or personal information on the App Store to verify your age?
I don't think that that's necessary, and I think that's asking a lot of us to put our information out on the internet, which is a big no-no. And it's not a matter of if they get hacked, it's a matter of when they get hacked.
I think that there needs to be some age verification, but when it comes to your private identity and your address and your where you're living and everything, that's going pretty in depth into your details.
This new law comes after a federal judge blocked a previous state law last year that required social media companies to verify the ages of all users.
These app stores already have so much of our information. What's the risk if they have more, like a driver's license, passport, or other information about us?
I think, first of all, the app stores don't necessarily have personally identifiable information and sensitive information. So app stores don't have your social security number. They don't have your driver's license number. And the risk with that is that with those types of identifiers, first of all, they're very difficult to change. If this data is then compromised, if it falls in the wrong hands, that can be used to, say, carry out identity theft or target you for harassment.
I reached out to Governor Cox to ask if this new law is an attempt to circumvent the previous ruling on their last age verification bill in 2024, and if he plans to sign this new bill into law.
So I vet everything that I let my children do.
As we wait to see if the governor signs the bill, we've got more information posted online at KUTV.com. Keeping an eye on your money tonight as Utahns face rising costs across the board for food. Many are finding it harder to put food on the table for their families. Food banks reporting a surge in demand as a result of this. Liv Kelleher takes a look at what's driving this growing strain and the impact it's having on Utah families.
According to Utahns Against Hunger, some of their emergency food banks are reporting nearly double the amount of people in need this year as compared to the same time last year. The cause, a number of coinciding issues, including the rising cost of groceries, the lack of affordable housing, and SNAP benefits fraud.
In the state of Utah right now, we're seeing numbers of requests for food assistance that are higher than they've ever been. The numbers are higher than we had during COVID.
Jeanette Bott is the CEO of the Utah Food Bank. She says a rising cost of living can eat into a family's grocery budget, leaving them less room to stretch.
The prices increase. It's really simple math. You know, you have the same amount of money, you're buying less product because the cost is high.
For families who have also fallen victim to SNAP benefit fraud, this can be devastating.
I know that there have been 800 victims of SNAP fraud for the last 4 months. That's a lot of people, and they need to get their food from somewhere, and those are folks that are likely showing up in emergency food pantries.
To put things in perspective, the monthly maximum SNAP benefits for a single person is $292. That's less than $10 a day. A dozen eggs averaging around $5 as of today. A pound of ground beef, I found it for $7 in St. George. So even for those who qualify for and are receiving their SNAP benefits, they're often still having to visit food banks to supplement their monthly diet.
To add to this strain, the USDA has announced $1 billion in cuts to school lunch and food bank funding.
I'm curious if you've seen any impact from that or if you're anticipating that.
Right now, we haven't been impacted because those dollars have been paid ahead, if you will, for lack of a better explanation. But at some point in the very near future, I think we're going to start to see a different playing field around that particular opportunity that we have. And yeah, I think we would be remiss to say we're not concerned.
Her ask of the federal government,
compassion and caring and understanding would be some of the tools they would use as they make these choices.
In St. George, Liv Kelleher, KUTV 2 News.
Well, happening tomorrow, it's the statewide Feed Utah Day. You can donate by placing a bag on non-perishable food items outside your front door by 9 a.m. Tomorrow morning, volunteers will pick up the food and deliver it to the Utah Food Bank warehouses and also grocery stores across the state. Well, we're not out of the woods yet. We're probably going to have some more snow, probably this weekend into the next week. How much and who's going to see it? Sean Kelly joins us with our first alert forecast. Sean?
Yeah, the main part of the storm is out of here, but it has been on and off snowing all day long in Brighton. Many of our ski resorts picking up 1 to 2 feet of snow, and yeah, the worst is behind us. We've got another little weak disturbance moving through in across much of the state as we get into tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, we'll be watching out for some snow, and again, the ski resorts going to continue to kick off the weekend with a powder day. We've got temperatures up and down the Wasatch Front. We're into the 30s and 40s, 40 in Provo, 37 in Ogden, 39 here in Salt Lake City. We're at 36 in Milford, 28 in Panguitch, 33 in Cedar City, 44 degrees in St. George right now with some windy conditions further out towards the western part of the state, 30 to 35 miles per hour. We'll continue to see some windy weather here in the days ahead. Look at this. We've got some snow showers still falling from Ogden northward into the Brigham City area. Temperatures for much of the region well above freezing, so it's not going to stick or amount to much, but of course, up into the higher elevations could see a coating of snow. And then further down towards the south, we're dry from Salt Lake City into the Draper, Provo, Santaquin area. Back out towards the Oquirrh Mountains, we have some snow showers there. And then we've got a few scattered showers here just east of I-15, east of the Cedar City area heading towards Panguitch. So through about midnight or so, we'll continue to actually dry things out, but then that second batch of snow showers moves in after 2 a.m. tonight, continuing on through tomorrow morning south and southeast of the Great Salt Lake. We'll see some of that lake effect snow chances that will continue, and then we also have some snow showers down towards the southern half of the state. But then through about our lunchtime or so tomorrow afternoon for our northern and central mountains, we'll continue to see some scattered snow showers, then gradually taper off as we get into the evening. This is not a big system, mainly on and off snow showers, and the valleys won't really see that much here. As we get into Sunday morning, though, could see some lingering snow showers up towards the Cache Valley area. Then we get ready for a more substantial storm that moves in as we get into Monday night to Tuesday. This will be similar in what we just dealt with here, with the cold front moving in, bringing us from rain changing over to heavy snow, and we could out of this see some light snow accumulations for the valleys and then maybe some big snow for the mountains with this system. How much snow? Again, with the overnight storm into tomorrow morning, a coating to an inch at best for the valleys. Could see about 4 to 7 inches for the mountains where we have those winter weather advisories. So St. George, you go from the 50s to the 60s, 70s as we get into Monday. Tuesday, 55 degrees with plenty of rain showers. Along the Wasatch Front, we've got the snow showers that we'll be dealing with tomorrow morning. That continues on through about lunchtime. Then we start to warm things up and dry things out into Sunday with our next storm Monday night into Tuesday, mix of rain and snow, and just a cool week ahead.
All right, John, thank you very much. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, the longest Iditarod sled dog race in Alaska finished with a first-time winner, but it took him 7 tries. We'll meet the winner and find out what made this race especially challenging. Hey, Dollywood kicking off its 40th anniversary celebration. Dolly Parton's popular theme park, located in Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountains, opens to season pass holders today, but then the general public can visit starting on Saturday. To mark the special anniversary, the season begins with the I Will Always Love You Music Festival to celebrate the art of songwriting. Dollywood is also adding a new restaurant and a new parking facility as part of a multi-year expansion at Dollywood Park. Hey, you still have some time to make that drive across the Idaho border to test your luck. Millions of dollars on the line this weekend for the Mega Millions and the Powerball. Tonight's Mega Millions drawing is worth an estimated $277 million. That means somebody could walk away with a cash payout of $129.5 million. Saturday's Powerball drawing is worth $378 million. That cash value payout would be $177.5 million. For either game, players must match all 6 numbers to win the grand prize, which is a lot of cash. Later this month, Solitude Mountain Resort hosting Red Bull's Cascade competition. Red Bull leaders say this ski event blends all mountain and terrain park features together on a technically challenging course. The event kicks off on March 28th, runs until the 29th. Skiers will be fighting for a $25,000 prize. And former reality star Jesse Holmes won first place at this year's Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race in Alaska. After 10 days on the course, Holmes crossed the finish line just before 3 o'clock in the morning today. This year's race was the longest ever after the starting point and the route were changed last year. It's the first time Holmes nabbed the big prize. He's entered 7 times before. This is his first win. The Alabama-born carpenter, who now calls Alaska his home, was a cast member on the show Life Below Zero. Congratulations to him. Hey, thanks a lot for watching ARC Salt Lake today. I'm Mark Cabell, filling in for Brian Schnee. Hope you have a great weekend.